Hey guys, it's Dan home from Mobile Reviews A.ca, and today I'm going to do a review of two Dog and Bone waterproof cases, the Wetsuit Impact and the Wetsuit. And this isn't the same wetsuit as I reviewed almost at the beginning of the release of the iPhone 6. This is a new version. Both these cases are very unique waterproof cases, as the Impact has a glass screen protector that is very flexible. It's almost like plastic, and the Wetsuit, well, has no screen protector, but is still waterproof. Both offer decent access to the iPhone, are drop rated, but sound is still an issue, like all waterproof cases. I will say that the new Wetsuit looks quite different than the old Wetsuit, and part of me actually really likes the old design. With the Wetsuit Impact, I did have a bit of help testing the 6 Plus version of the case, well, and it ended up with a bit of an owie. I've given the Wetsuit Impact a score of 4.3 A's out of 5, and the new Wetsuit, or Wetsuit 2.0, a score of 3.7 A's out of 5. As of right now, the Impact is the highest rated waterproof case because of the glass screen protector, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best for a vacation near a body of water. I'll elaborate in a second, or a minute. 2 minutes. If you're wondering how these waterproof cases stack up against other waterproof cases from LifeProof, Thule, and Catalyst, check out my website for the 5 best waterproof cases that I've reviewed, which I'll constantly update. Links are in the I or description section below. Real usage, real reviews, Mobile Reviews A.ca. At Mobile Reviews A.ca, I base all my reviews on actual usage. So with these Dog and Bone cases, I've actually had them for several months now. It finally got up. Started going up in the ranker tool, and so every couple days I'll swap these cases on and off, so I've gotten to know them fairly well. And since these are waterproof cases and the company's name is Dog and Bone, well, Monty needs to be involved, and he helped me by cleaning off the Wetsuit when I accidentally got peanut butter on the case. This was subsequently followed up by a good washing of the iPhone in the Dog and Bone Wetsuit because Monty's slobber is gross. Why? Because he eats his poop sometimes. Now, the design of these cases are actually quite similar. The backs are interchangeable, or the fronts are interchangeable with the backs. Both are quite slim, and the only case, waterproof case that is a tad slimmer is the LifeProof Free, and it's about as thick as the Ghost Tech Atomic. Now, the biggest difference in terms of design can be found on the front of the cases. Again, I mentioned earlier, the Impact version has an ultra-thin piece of 9H glass, but it doesn't feel like glass, but it doesn't kind of feel like plastic. It's very confusing that way, but it flexes like plastic, but kind of not like glass, which is kind of cool. The Wetsuit doesn't have a screen protector included in the package, which kind of sucks for a $90 case. You could spend another $30, get a bone guard to go with it, but then that's $120 for a case, and if you're taking this on vacation, well, there are some better cases for that. The entire design of the case is very reminiscent of the LifeProof Nude. There's no O-ring between the front and the back of the cases. There's a smaller O-ring along the screen edges to keep it water out, kind of like the LifeProof Nude. Installation for both cases is quite simple, as you pop the iPhone to the back and snap the front on. Taking it apart is just as easy, as you can either use your fingernails if you've got fingernails, or a coin or a key and pop the cover off. I will note that the interior of the 6 case is a little different, as there's a piece of rubber that just kind of sits there. I have no idea why it's there, but it is there, and it's interesting to me because these cases are all starting to look the same. Both cases are compatible with the iPhone 6 and 6S, though if you have a regular 6, you need to install a spacer into the case. This is important. Both cases fit well together, and they don't show excessive wear and tear, though we feel that Dog and Bone needs to add a bit of rubbery texture to the front of the case to minimize front-facing slippage. Both cases are waterproof up to 6.6 feet as well, which is great if you need that. Now, in terms of waterproof cases for the 6Ss, I've actually changed my tune between the 6 and the 6Ss. With the 6, yeah, it's probably going to be better to get a waterproof case, but the 6S is actually fairly water resistant, and so you might not need a waterproof case for your day-to-day activities. If you accidentally, or if you are worried about occasionally dropping your iPhone into the toilet or into the sink and letting it sit in the water for like 30 seconds, then, you know, a regular slim case with a screen protector is going to protect your iPhone fine because, well, again, iPhone 6Ss are a little more water resistant. Now, if you're planning on taking these cases, going to the ocean and doing some pretty awesome stuff with it, then yeah, you could get one of these cases or actually spend almost the same amount of money and get a real waterproof case like Hitcase Pro and Optrix XD6, because those cases are definitely waterproof and they let you use your iPhone to its maximum potential. Now, when would be the only time that I would recommend these cases, really? I would say the only time, yeah, all right, nice, thanks, buddy. That's a runner. The only time in my head that I would think I would need one of these cases if I was working water, you know, around water that was knee deep or up to waist deep. So, you know, the first things that come to mind is like a rice farmer, so, you know, the paddy fields, or a lifeguard at a kiddie pool, because the water's always kind of around there. You might, I don't know. But again, I wouldn't get these cases to go snorkeling in the ocean. I would stick with a tougher one. My 2 cents. These cases are drop rated to 6.6 feet, which again isn't a normal height to be dropping things from. Now on the larger Wetsuit Impact, the screen is actually cracked, the owie that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, which happened from a waist-high drop. I was a little curious to see if the case would still be waterproof, and no water entered the case after spending a couple of hours in my sink. Now that got me thinking, I've got a Wetsuit Impact that hasn't been dropped yet. Will the ultra-thin glass screen protector crack? Well, it didn't, so maybe the 6 Plus case had a defect in the screen protector? Now for the Wetsuit score, the biggest downfall of that case is that it doesn't have a screen protector. Dog and Bone doesn't give you one, but they do say you can use a PET plastic screen protector that is 0.1 millimeters thick in the case. Now, I've got the thinnest plastic screen protector I can find on this one iPhone 6s, and I don't think it's 0.1 millimeter thick, though I can install the entire package in the case. In fact, the only 0.1 millimeter thick screen protectors I can think of are the ones that come in really cheap cases, like it's a step up from packing tape. Accessing your iPhone inside these cases is decent. The buttons work actually very well, and the cutouts at the bottom of the case allow you to use larger than average cables and headphones. Edges on the Wetsuit are quite high, so you will notice them immediately, and getting to the different swipe menus on your iPhone may take a couple more tries. The Wetsuit Impact allows you to access the entire screen much easier than the regular Wetsuit, though there is a gap. There is a tiny gap. You might notice it, but it's not large, and it doesn't degrade the sensitivity of the touchscreen. Both cases have an area where you can attach a wrist strap, which is something that you can't do with any of the LifeProof cases. Now, in terms of sound, these Wetsuits suffer the same high volume, conversation crackling sound. The sound also gets a bit muted, and you can definitely hear the change in the sound volume as I install an iPhone playing music into the case. Sound does get projected through the back, so you're not going to accidentally mute the iPhone in this case, which is nice. So if you're out and about and your phone is ringing, you're probably going to be able to hear it in this case if you've got the ringer turned off or turned on. At the beginning of the video, I said I like the older version a little better than the newer version. The newer version, it's again, I said in the middle of the video, it's reminiscent of a LifeProof case. The original Dog and Bone Wetsuit for the iPhone 6 was this massive thing. It has like a wetsuit that you put your iPhone into, and then the front and backs kind of snap together. I don't know why they changed it, but this case looked tough. This looked like a tough waterproof case, whereas in this, looks like a LifeProof, which they're not terribly tough. They'll get the job done, but yeah, it's lost a bit of attitude. Like this is the SE version or the 5S version. Got a lot of attitude. The new ones, eh. So that's all I got. If you have any questions for me, you can ask them below. If this review was useful, considering getting the stuff that I reviewed through my website, because, well, Dog and Bone did send me these cases, but they did not pay for the time for me to drop it, to give it to friends to try, and to actually do this entire review. Huh. Find me on Google+, Twitter, as well as Facebook. I'm Aaron Ho. This is Monty the Ho, the Poop Eater. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. At all. LifeProof nude. The autocorrect says LifeProof nerd. The LifeProof nerd, damn it.